Hello everyone, welcome back to Ace Advice. I hope you are all doing very well. Today is a very exciting day. Today's the first day of the 2021 Australian Open. The first matches are starting today around 7 p.m., which is tomorrow for Australia. There are so many amazing first round matches today. And so this preview video, I'm going to go over the first round matchups that I think are super, super interesting and that everyone should watch. And I also put on my Ace Advice Instagram those matchups, and you guys voted for who you think is going to win those matches. So I'll also discuss those results and if I agree with the majority opinion or not. And then I'm going to go through my draw predictions and talk about who I think is going to get far in the tournament and who I think is going to win on both the men's and the women's side. So the first matchup, I just have my draws right here. I filled them all out. The first matchup I see that is interesting is going to be Karolina Muchova versus Jelena Ostapenko. Muchova is the 25th seed, and Ostapenko is not seeded. But we know Ostapenko. We've seen her before. I think she might be a Grand Slam champion. So the reason why I picked this match is because Muchova is a very, very skilled player. She has a great backhand. But Ostapenko is a fighter, and she plays very hard as well. So, you know, Muchova has a tough first round, so I think this match is going to be a very, very interesting first round matchup. According to you guys, Muchova is going to win this matchup, but this was a very, very close voting, actually, because Ostapenko got 46% of the votes and Muchova got 54% of the votes. So this is obviously, just from these votes you can tell, it's going to be a very close match, and it really could go either way. Another first round matchup that I think is going to be good is Kristina Mladenovic against Maria Sakkari. Both are hard hitters, so this is going to be a hard hitting match. And I've had match analysis videos about how to beat someone who's also a hard hitter if you're a hard hitter. All right, so this is another very close one. 44% of you guys said Sakkari was going to win, and 56% of you guys said Mladenovic was going to win. So Mladenovic, according to you guys, has the upper hand, but I actually think that Sakkari is going to win this match. I mean, Mladenovic isn't even seeded in this match, and I think a lot of you guys might have voted for Mladenovic because you might have recognized her name more because she had a very successful early part to her career, but she's losing a lot of close matches these days. So I'm going to give the upper hand to Sakkari. So we will see who wins that match. Sakkari is the 20th seed going into this tournament. All right, the next matchup, we have Coco Gauff. I think anytime Coco Gauff is playing, it's going to be an interesting match because Gauff upsets lots of players. She's an up-and-comer, and she's going to be playing Jil Teichmann, who's also an up-and-comer from Switzerland. I think this is going to be a very interesting match, but 67% of you guys think that Coco Gauff is going to win it, and 33% say that Teichmann's going to win it. I gave the win, so in my draw prediction, I said that Teichmann is going to win this match. And the only reason why I think that is because Gauff's been having a little bit of trouble in those big matches just as of late, and maybe this is the year she turns her back around to how she was playing before COVID, but just lately I feel like Teichmann was playing really well last year, so I think that Teichmann might have the upper hand, but who knows. I would not be surprised if Gauff wins it, and according to you guys, Gauff has the upper hand, so we will see. The next women's draw matchup that I think people should look out for is a match with Venus Williams against Kirsten Flipkens. And the reason why I thought that this match was an interesting match to look out for is because Flipkens is a very dicey, and she's a player that doesn't give you a lot of the same speed and the same pace, which is how I play, and I love that style of play. And going against someone like Venus, who is getting older and who likes to hit hard, I think that Flipkens has the style of game necessary to beat someone like Venus. But 64% of you think that Venus is going to win, and 36% of you think that Flipkens is going to win. So you guys think that Venus has the upper hand, and I actually also give the win to Venus in my draw prediction. So we will see what happens in that, but I definitely would watch out for this match because if I were playing Venus, I would tell someone to play like Flipkens. So I think it's going to be a very cool match to watch. All right, the next match we have is Laura Siegemund versus Serena Williams, and let me see what you guys have for that one. Oh, this is a very one-sided one. 93% of you think that Serena is going to win, and only 7% of you think that Siegemund is going to win. I also have Serena winning this match, but I think Siegemund is a very feisty player, and she's not going to give up no matter what the score is. So I think this is a really good test for Serena to get through that first round and, continue to build her dominance throughout this tournament. All right, let's move on to the men's draw. The first one is Sam Querrey against Lorenzo Sonego. And the reason why I think that this is a very interesting match is because Sonego had a breakthrough year last year. He got really far in majors, and Sam Querrey is one of those dominant players who he plays very well in majors as well. All right, so you guys have 62% of you are saying that Sam Querrey is going to win, and 38% of you say that Sonego is going to win. So I think this is a very close match. I give the match to Querrey just because Querrey has more experience, but Sonego's playing really well, so I would not be surprised if Sonego wins this match. But this is a really interesting match to watch. The next one is, this one's a very good one, is Pospisil against Medvedev. And I'll get more with Medvedev later on with my draw predictions, but Medvedev is, I think, one of the most dominant players to ever play. He has such a solid game. But Pospisil has been playing very well lately. He's had a really slow start to his career. I feel like his trajectory has kind of been like this, but as of the past few months, it's been going up. So I think that he has a very good chance of giving at least Medvedev a really tough time. And 29% of you think that Pospisil can win, whereas 71% think that Medvedev is going to win. And I also do think that Medvedev is going to win this match. Next up, we got Tsitsipas against Gilles Simon. I'm pronouncing that the best I can, Gilles. But Simon, I love watching Simon play. He's a very graceful player on the court. But Tsitsipas is also very graceful with an amazing one-handed backhand. He's in his top shape right now. He's playing super well. So obviously I think Tsitsipas is going to win this match, and 88% of you also think that Tsitsipas is going to win this match. But 12% of you do think Simone can win. Simone's also not going to give up, but I think Tsitsipas has more of the physicality needed to win a best-of-5 sets match in the Australian Open when it's hot outside. The next we have Kevin Anderson against Berrettini. And the reason why I put this match here is because Berrettini is a younger player who is really starting to show some dominance on tour, whereas Kevin Anderson's more of a veteran player, but he has a lot of skill and he has had a lot of success in majors. So Kevin Anderson definitely does have what it takes, so I think this would be an interesting matchup to see young versus old and to see, is experience what's going to help, or is it the strength and the endurance going to help? 62% of you think that Berrettini is going to win this match, and 38% of you think that Anderson's going to win this match. I think that Berrettini is going to win this match just because it's a Grand Slam setting. If it was a best-of-3 set setting, I actually do think Anderson would win the match. And then we have Tennys Sandgren against Alex de Minaur. And the reason why I thought that this match was interesting is because Sandgren is one of those players who you don't really remember, and then all of a sudden he's playing in majors and he's beating everyone. So that's why I think that de Minaur is going to have a challenge, because de Minaur has been playing very, very well lately. But he's having a very hard first-round match against Sandgren. 71% of you think that de Minaur is going to win, and 29% of you think that Sandgren is going to win. And I have de Minaur winning, but I think it's going to be close, and I think that Sandgren does have a good chance of winning this match. I really do. So de Minaur is going to have to stay mentally focused. He's going to have to stay very focused. I think that's the big thing for him. So Novak Djokovic got a very interesting first round matchup. He has to play Jeremy Chardy. And Chardy is, he's older, but so is Djokovic. But Chardy doesn't have as much success in majors. And so Djokovic, I think, is definitely going to win this match. But Chardy isn't, a player that you've never heard of. He definitely does have lots of wins under his belt. So I think that this is another test for Djokovic to see how well he can play in a first round match right off the bat. He did play in the ATP Cup, so he's not going to be too rusty. But 88% of you think that Djokovic is going to win, and 12% of you think that Chardy is going to win. So a lot of you guys do believe in the underdogs, and as a Nadal fan, I would love for Chardy to win, but I do think Djokovic is going to win this match. Next up, we have Dimitrov and Cilic, and this is a very interesting matchup because Cilic is a Grand Slam champion, and then we have Dimitrov, who has always been really, really close to being a Grand Slam champion. He always gives the top players so much trouble, and he's kind of like the younger Federer. He has a very similar style of play as Federer. 67% of you think that Dimitrov's going to win, and 33% of you think that Cilic is going to win. And I agree with this. I think that Dimitrov is going to win because Cilic has been really struggling lately. So I think that this is going to be an interesting match to see maybe if Cilic can step it up. But in terms of level of play, I think Dimitrov actually has a higher level of play right now. So I think that Dimitrov is going to win this match as well. And Nishikori, who is still on the comeback train, he's playing Carreño Busta first round. So unfortunately, he isn't getting an easy first round to maybe build some of those points that he's been losing lately. And Carreño Busta has been consistent over the past few years. So 71% of you think that Carreño Busta is going to win, and 29% of you think that Nishikori is going to win. And I agree with this. Unfortunately, even though Nishikori's had such a successful tennis career, he's still trying to make his way back and gain that momentum again. And I think Carreño Busta is going to stall that momentum once again. And lastly, and this is the matchup for me, if you watch one first round match, I think this is the one you should watch. Jannik Sinner is playing Denis Shapovalov. Shapovalov is the 11 seed, but 60% of you think that Sinner is going to win. And I completely agree with this. I think that Sinner is going to win. And obviously, if Shapovalov wins, we won't be surprised. Shapovalov's the 10 seed. I mean, the 11 seed. But what's so interesting about this match is that Sinner is an amazing player. If you've watched Sinner play, you know he has what it takes to win a Grand Slam, and he's only 19 years old. So he is an incredible player. He hits so cleanly, he hits so deep, he hits very aggressive, he's very calm on the court. He has that GOAT mentality. He really does. And so going against Shapovalov in the first round is such an interesting matchup because Shapovalov's hot-headed. He kind of reminds me of Djokovic. They get very frustrated on the court, and it could lead them to making some more mistakes. So I think that this is a very, very interesting matchup to watch, and I think that Sinner can pull this one off. So I am very excited for this match. Okay, so those are the first round matchups that I think everyone should be paying attention to starting around 7 p.m. today. And now I'm going to tell you guys who I think is going to win the men's and the women's side. So on the women's side, I have Naomi Osaka. I think that she is going to pull it off. Her road to the final isn't terrible. According to my draw predictions, she obviously won't be playing every single one of these players because I'm not psychic, but I have her playing Pavlyuchenkova, Garcia, Jabeur Muguruza, Kvitova, Swiatek, and Swiatek did just win a Grand Slam, so that will be interesting, but I do think Osaka is going to win that potential semifinal matchup. And then in the final, I have her playing against Svitolina, actually, but I think that Osaka has the upper hand. And then on the men's side, I said I was going to mention Medvedev again, and I think Medvedev's going to win the tournament. I think that this is his time. He definitely has what it takes to win a Grand Slam, and I think he's going to be Thiem in the final, and obviously if Thiem wins again, we wouldn't be surprised. But I have Thiem beating Djokovic in the semis, and I have Medvedev beating Nadal in the semis. But of course, if we get another Djokovic-Nadal final, no one would be very surprised. And I would, if that happens, I think that Djokovic would win that just because he has more success in the Australian Open. But as a Rafa fan, obviously, I hope Rafa wins that match. But I do think that Medvedev has the experience, has the skills, and has the abilities just in general to win a Grand Slam. And I think this might be his year. That is my draw predictions for you guys in first round matchups that I think you guys should tune into. And I will be getting back to you guys with future second, third, fourth, and so on matchups as well that I think you guys should watch out for, and any upsets and why I think those upsets happen. I'll get into all of that. I'm very excited that the Australian Open is finally starting. It's been such a long wait, and I really hope that all the players stay safe and healthy, and all the tournament staff and everyone involved in this tournament. I hope everyone stays very healthy so that we can get this tournament done from start to finish. So I hope you guys have a great time watching it, and comment who you think is going to win on the men's and women's side, and I'll see you guys soon.